G'day and welcome back to another SirCooper trip report. Today I'm here at Phuket International Airport in Thailand to begin my return journey back home to Australia. And to do that, I'll be flying with AirAsia down to Kuala Lumpur for my connection onto the Gold Coast. First up, we need to find out where our flight's check-in counter is. It's currently about 9:45 AM. We're here about 4 hours early, so we'll have to wait for about an hour before we can check in. Here's our flight, check-in desk row D. Unfortunately though, as mentioned, we have to wait for check-in to open for now. Still about 40 minutes until this check-in desk opens. My family has found a place to sit and eat at this Arroy cafe, but I thought I'd run you through what you can find in this far left corner of the check-in area. Here you can find the Hugs mini cafe and restaurant. Then there's a tour agent stand for whatever reason. And then there's this currency exchange and ATM closest to the main entrances. While I walk back to the rest of the shops, you can see how long the line is for Indigo, which flies to Phuket 5 times daily from cities across India, like Bengaluru, Mumbai, and New Delhi. Anyways, moving past the line, there's the Arroy Cafe, a Starbucks coffee shop, and a Thai street food shop for if you still want to pretend like you aren't about to leave Thailand. As well as the stores, if you go up these escalators, you'll not only get a great view of the entire check-in area, but you'll also find the toilets. Anyways, for now I just need to sit here and wait for check-in to open, but for you guys watching, I'll just skip right ahead to when it's open. Alright, well it doesn't say on the departure board, it's technically now time to check in. Fortunately, Phuket is littered with self-check-in kiosks scattered around the baggage drop aisles, so it should be an easy process. Okay, after a bit of waiting for a family in front of us, we finally got our bags checked through to the Gold Coast, which means we don't need to pick up and check in our bags in KL. Anyways, now we're on to passport control and security. Okay, now we've made it through, we'll look for a place to sit and set up for the next couple hours so I can do some spotting and take you for a tour around this crowded terminal. At first glance, there seems to be an unfathomable amount of duty-free shops around here. So much so that it's almost to the point where you can barely walk around without ducking and weaving between people in this crowded terminal. I get it might be peak hour, but as a word of caution, if you're travelling through Phuket International during peak hours, expect it to be crowded. And to make things worse, the Etihad diverted to Krabi while we were here, so all of its hundreds of passengers had to stay in the terminal for longer than expected, making things more crowded. Anyways, we found a seat, time to do some spotting. And here's our aircraft that will take us on its return journey back home. 9 Mike Romeo Alpha Charlie, a 6-year-old Airbus A320-216 that's just arrived from Kuala Lumpur as AK-824. Okay, now that I've done some spotting, let's take a look at what this terminal has to offer. I'm towards the north end of the terminal, next to gate 11, where you can find this window offering amazing views out onto the apron. Next to the window is this Tong Kitchen restaurant and yet another Arroy cafe. Moving further down towards gates 4 to 10, there's a Zurich bread cafe, a Siam Express takeaway shop, and at the very end behind the glass there is a Burger King where I got my lunch. Heading back now, there are these small convenience stores dotted across the walkway. Back past the window opposite to the Tong Kitchen is what appears to be a small supermarket, like a 7-Eleven, with lots of food on offer. Next to gate 11 is a large area for seating with this free charger station available. These charging stations can be found around any seating areas around the terminal. Towards the back wall near gate 11 is a coffee shop and a large clothing/accessory store. Next to me here is a store called Memories of Thailand, which is a sort of last-minute souvenir shop which you can find numerous variants of across the terminal. Appropriately, there's a currency exchange store here too, and even more seating here located between gates. Next to the seating is a Dean and DeLuca cafe and a Subway. Beyond the Subway now, we're at the large cosmetics and fragrance section of the terminal. This entire marble-floored, oval-shaped section of the terminal is dedicated just to these companies trying to sell you these personal care products. Anyways, moving beyond this part of the terminal, you can find even more seating, as well as this burger shop and a luxury watch store. Here's another Memories of Thailand souvenir shop and some more seating next to gate 15, which brings us to the south end of the terminal. Turning back around, you can find the Tastes of Thailand, which is exactly what you'd think it is, and some more novelty stores scattered across this narrow, crowded pathway. I wonder what this store is. Oh, would you look at that? We have a sense of Thailand now. And, oh, wow, that's unfortunate. Hope you didn't break anything important. I mean, I said I'd offer you a detailed look at what's offered in the terminal, but now that I'm walking back, I've pretty much covered everything that there is in the terminal. Just to show you what I've meant when I say crowded, this is what I've been walking through for the last 7 minutes. So thankfully, I've returned to the window to sign off this terminal tour. It's 12:27, less than an hour before boarding will start, so I best get back to my seat and get ready for that. Since our aircraft parked on a remote stand, we have to take these escalators down to the lower gates where we'll wait for a bus to take us to our aircraft. It's extremely crowded down here, but there's some seating for those still waiting for their flight to arrive, as well as some options for food such as Taste of Thailand and a Dairy Queen which is just out of frame. We're on the bus now, and it's so crowded in here I could barely find a place to stand, and I was barely even lucky enough to find a place to film out of the windows for you guys.
Dear guests, kindly be seated according to the seat numbers shown on your boarding pass.
And here's our seat for today, seat 6A, right up the front of the plane. Okay, just before we depart, I'll quickly run through the seat tour. In front of us here is the tray table which folds down and extends forward. Below that is the seat pocket where I have my personal belongings, and where there is also the menu/reading material, the safety card, sick bags, and this Unity Cup pamphlet. Below that I also have my backpack at my feet. Sitting all the way back, the legroom is about a hand and 3 fingers, which is pretty good for anyone who's about 5'9". Above us here are the personal reading lights, crew call buttons, and adjustable fans. The armrests to my right are adjustable. There are no coat hanging nooks on the sides of the seat, and another thing as well, there are no universal outlets below the seats. We've pushed back from the remote stand really quickly now, so we're just waiting to begin taxiing and we'll be off. Alright, now we're in the air, I have to admit something. As much as I'd like to offer you a more in-depth review of the flight itself, once we got into the air, there wasn't much to film. As well as this, we only spent about 20 minutes at cruising altitude. So, I hope you can enjoy this compilation of our arrival into Kuala Lumpur.
Turn to your seat. Put your seat upright. Ensure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Stow your tray table and open your window shade. Large devices, such as laptops, must be stowed underneath the seat in front or in the overhead compartment. You may continue to use mobile phones or tablets in flight mode until landing.
Okay, just before we land, I thought I'd share a few final thoughts I couldn't share prior. Getting through check-in, passport control and security at Phuket was very seamless, efficient and fairly easy. Once through, I had to complain about the lack of space in the terminal for seating or even standing in some places. Given we were in the terminal around one of multiple peak hours, things were pretty crowded, which made for an awful experience walking around doing the terminal tour. As well as the terminal, the buses that take passengers to aircraft on remote stands were packed to the max capacity in an effort to get aircraft out the door quickly. This could be due to airport staff poorly coordinating us, or it could just be due to AirAsia expecting quick turnarounds leading to the cramped buses. Either way, it led to us quickly pushing back and making our way to the runway at such a speed I didn't even have time to complete my seat tour in time for pushback. Overall, the flight was good, and to summarize, I'd say you get what you pay for, given the fare was about $70 per person. Anyways, I hope you can enjoy the rest of the arrival sequence.
Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 2. The local time now is 5 minutes past 4 in the evening. For your safety, please remain seated. You may now use mobile phones or tablet in flight mode or connect to your mobile network. Do be careful when opening the vehicle compartments, and please ensure you have all your personal belongings with you before leaving the aircraft. It was a pleasure on board, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for watching my trip report and staying until the end. I hope this video was informational or entertaining to you in any way. As mentioned, the flight was good for what we paid for, a very efficient way to get hundreds of people to and from Kuala Lumpur. AirAsia certainly does manage to strike a balance between good service, efficiency, and cheap fares that ensures customers like me are satisfied at all times. Anyways, I need to get going to KLIA1 as soon as possible to do some spotting before I continue my journey onto the Gold Coast with AirAsia X. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next trip report where I head to Aotearoa.